Welcome to our podcast, where we extend what we do best here at Northern Prep Squad to you at home, giving you an honest insight into the industry from those who are living in it. Taking you through the highs and lows of being a performer, debunking some myths as well as advice and lots of inside scoop along the way. Hosted by me, Jordan, founder of Northern Prep Squad, actor, teacher and head agent at Management by Northern Prep. Joined by industry professionals and of course, some of our squad. So sit back, relax, and welcome to the Northern Prep Pod. Hi, and welcome to the Northern Prep Pod. And today we have the lovely Callum Train with us.
Hello there.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Excited?
I am actually. I've never done a filmed podcast like this before. So I feel it's a bit more like chill, like I'm just having a chat with a friend. It's like cash.
You got your cushions.
Got my cushions, me furry ball.
Your furry balls are all sorted. Right. What I was going to say is we started Northern Prep Squad in 2019.
Yep.
And you were actually one of our first ever like masterclasses.
Yeah. It feels like, we were speaking about this today. It feels like it was forever ago. Like I thought it was like 8 years ago. Yeah, we only started 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came up one Sunday. I literally got the train from London, came for like a few hours and then went straight back. But it was such a good day.
It was a cat's workshop,
It was a cat's workshop,
yeah. So I was in the Cayman Islands.
Yes, we hadn't met at that
we
point.
hadn't actually met yet. But I think I was supposed to have somebody else come.
Right.
And they cancelled like the week before or something. And I think he passed your name on or...
Right, okay.
Something happened where we got you back. But I remember emailing you from the Cayman Islands being like, please come. Please come and teach these children.
Yeah.
But yeah, they loved it. Actually, I thought one of our kids was going to be, I think actually Darcy, who taught today.
Yeah.
She was like, what? Gosh, she'd have been about 6.
That's crazy, isn't it? Time
Madness.
flies, yeah.
Madness.
That's such a good day. But we were saying, I only met you in person this week.
Yeah.
But it's so weird because we've always been speking over like social media, but
I've never actually met you in person, yeah.
And it feels like I've known you forever.
Oh, yeah. Well, babes, saves. I'm hitting you up for advice all the time. So for those of you that don't know, Callum is at doing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in Sheffield, which is where we've filmed the podcast. So you've been here this week and you're in for next week.
Yep.
But we also have, as management, we have 8 of our Northern Prep Squad kids in the show, which is exciting. And so, yeah, I actually only met you, but I messaged you when we were auditioning for it.
That was it, yes.
I was super cheeky because I was
cheeky advice.
Panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get this right. So I remember being like, Callum, can you give me any advice, any insight? And you sent me this lovely voice note with all this help. And I remember playing it to the kids. And I was like, this is the advice from the show. And
it worked.
And it worked because we got the job.
It's so funny because I was thinking, what I'm probably telling you is just a load of old rubbish, but I'm hoping it works out.
No, it did. It worked. We got the job and now like my kids get to work with you, which is insane.
It is amazing, yeah. What I love about the show is that it has given so many kids around the country the opportunity to be in a professional production. They're not just getting, I know obviously like London is seen as like the theatre hub, but kids that are in other parts of the country, everywhere, not just in Sheffield or wherever, but they get to be in a proper professional touring production and experience that environment, which they might not necessarily have done before because they're only doing their local dance school or whatever. So it's just a different way of working and seeing how a true theatrical production is run and being in that surrounding, they might go, oh, I want to do that in the future. It was exciting to be around that atmosphere and those people and it might spark their future. You never know.
Yeah, no, they've definitely found it so interesting. And I mean, I found it interesting and I've just been sat in the dressing room.
Making sure they behave.
Yes, making sure they're behaving. Which they are, by the way, just throwing it out there. Right then, so Carl, tell us, how did you even get into performing? Because you're from Hull.
Yeah.
Which is not too far, to be fair.
Northerner.
Yes.
Yeah, not too far at all. So my journey was actually a little bit weird. I in a way, I was kind of like the classical Billy Elliot story.
Okay.
A little bit. So I'd always done Amdram from a young age, I would say about 6. And being in that surrounding, never like anything too challenging, but I enjoyed to sing. I could sing. I did a little bit of acting. Never really danced, but it was for amateur level. I was all right. And bizarrely, me and my sister used to play county badminton.
Okay.
I know, total detour here. So all my focus was on that. We were training like 4 times a week. It was like intense. And my sister ended up quitting. She's 4 years older than me, and she quit when she was about, I want to say 17, 18. And we'd always done this together. So I, like, from the age of about 7, I was like, we played together. We did all tournaments together and stuff, and that was our journey. That's what we were going to do. She quit, and I was sort of like, oh, well, if my bigger sister's quitting, then I'm going to quit. But what am I going to do? So at 15, my cousin and my best friend said I should go to this dance class in Hull. I was like, I am not going to dance.
At 15 as well, like that's quite daunting.
And also me, I'm like a giant. I'm 6'4". I was like 6'4" at the time. And I was like, it's not for me. I don't want to go and do a dance class. And also back in the day, this is like early 2000s, it was still seen as a male to dance, not the thing to do. So I remember not telling any friends about it. I was in like, what, year 9, year 10, something like that. And I would go. I remember the first session I went, I actually missed the first week. It was the September, the start of the new term. And I wouldn't go. And they tried to make me go the second week. And I was like, I'll go, but I'm only watching.
Okay.
I'm not going to dance. So I went and took me in the car. And I remember that I can see the studio now. Beautiful studio and a mini stage with loads of chairs. So I park myself up on the chairs and the class happens and the principal comes out, and I'll never forget it. She comes out the kitchen. She goes, "Oh, hello, who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm cousins with Helen and my friend Molly." She was like, "Oh," I said, "I'm going to watch today." And she went, "No, you're not. You're going to join in." And I was so scared because she was a proper ballet mistress. Like the god. She is my god. Miss Vanessa, I love you. And I did a ballet class with 9-year-olds, and I was obviously 15. So I looked really, I had joggers on. I wasn't dressed in the right stuff. I was with these tiny little kids and me, this gangly old thing. And I did my first ballet class, and I actually hated it. But I could tell that she was invested in me, as in Vanessa. So I don't know why, but I did carry on.
So why were you in the younger class?
Because I
had the ability, obviously.
No ability, yeah. And it was the first time I'd done it. I needed the basics, and I don't know why I did carry on. It's weird because you would expect a child of that age to go, "I'm not doing that again." But for some reason, I just kept going. And I remember the first 3 months, I was just like, obviously, just a gangly old mess, just trying to catch up and sort of absorb anything I could. And then the first thing I remember noticing was I started to get flexible. And I was like, oh my God, I can nearly do the splits. Just things like that.
Yeah.
Now, as I think as a performer, it's like the splits are the last thing on my mind. I don't care. But it was that I could see an improvement quite quickly, but also the fact that she was invested in me. And then after about a year, so I got to like 16, I did tell her I did want to do it professionally. And then for some reason, she ramped up her commitment to me. She knew I wanted it. And I would have private lessons before my actual lesson. Just things like that. I would travel into Hull because we were about 40 minutes away from the studio. I would go in after my GCSEs or A-level while studying my A-levels, and I'd have an hour lesson with her, and then I'd do the hour lesson with everybody else, and then I'd do another lesson, like a tap lesson, and then a modern lesson. And I said, yeah, I really am focused on doing this as a career. And she prepped me to audition for colleges. And I mean, not to blow my own trumpet, but I got in everywhere with full scholarships. So I was like, clearly I am doing the right thing. But I actually think me starting so late was the best thing I could have done. Because if I had just coasted from, say, 6, I would have just been a bit blasé about it because I was so late and I had to catch up. I put all my focus into it. And I think that was my drive to make it happen, because I was like, if I don't give it all my commitment, it probably isn't going to happen because I am behind.
I think people tend to get scared, especially with dance for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think because it is a skill set that like takes quite a long time to acquire right techniques and the muscle memory and all that stuff, that I think people do get worried when they are I was the same. I didn't dance until I went to, like, my auditions for drama school was like my first ballet lesson.
Really,
I just went to the dance shop the day before and bought all the stuff, so I looked like I knew what I was doing. So, I fooled him. I got in. But I think it is nerve-wracking, and I think a lot of people go that mindset of default to, like, well, I haven't been doing it since I was 4. And actually, you're living proof that you don't need to have done it.
No, you don't. And
you've done dancey shows.
Oh, yeah. But I think it is an individual's personality trait. If you absolutely want something, you will make it happen.
Yeah.
You'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. And I think that's what I had in my brain at the time, but I didn't realize it. I was just young. But I think that also stemmed, which is what I was speaking about earlier, is my sporting background. Yeah. The competitiveness of that. So yeah, I think I was drilled in a different discipline, but I applied that subconsciously for dance. Yeah. Which is, I guess, why it worked out.
Amazing. And then where did you end up picking out of all your options?
I went to Lane Theatre Arts in Epsom.
Oh, darling.
Which is actually funny. Again, I never thought I was actually as intelligent as I was at the time, but the reason was my singing was always quite good. Or enough to get by. I could carry a tune quite well. And I used to play like the lead roles in the local Amdram stuff. So I knew I was all right. But Lane Theatre Arts is so dance heavy. I actually picked that because my dance was my weakest discipline. So I knew if I was going to go there, I'm going to be surrounded by the best dancers in the country. It's only going to push me in that ability more. And then when I got there, I was used mostly for like lead roles because of my singing ability and acting ability. But in the class-based stuff, I was so pushed because I was surrounded by the best of the best. So then it brought all my 3 skills up to a level playing field, which people talk about, the triple threat thing. Yeah.
It's so clever because I think a lot of people, that's just a human nature thing sometimes, is I'm good at that, so I'm going to lead with that, and we're going to go with that, and we're going to put all our effort into that.
Yeah.
When actually what happens is you do that over even the course of a month, but course a couple of years, and you've left your other skill sets behind.
Exactly, yeah.
So actually, you're right. It was so clever. Such a clever choice.
But I definitely didn't think of that at the time. I guess it was just a subconscious thing. I don't know. But now I teach a lot now, and in London, and I do always say to my students, like, you do need to, especially now, even nowadays, I graduated 16 years ago now. I'm old. So the talent now is like next level. Yeah. If you can't be the top of your craft in all those disciplines, unfortunately you will be left behind. You've got to have those skill sets right up there, matching. Otherwise, you're not providing everything you can to the table in order to go, look, I can do that. Oh, I can also do that and that, because I can do all 3 disciplines. Yeah,
it's different from when I feel like even when I went to college, like, I mean, I've been graduated 10 years now.
Yeah.
But still, it was, you could get by being like a singer.
Yeah.
And now actually the shows that they're putting out, you need to have all 3.
Yeah, you do.
And the only way you can do that, and it's a perfect time when you're like 14, 15. Because let's be honest, like the kids that are in Chitty and stuff, they're max 12.
Yep.
Like when after 12, you're not really working professionally in musical theatre until then you've graduated drama school. So it's a perfect time to really like hone in on those skill sets and try and like match them up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, well, I love that.
Yeah, it was good.
So how was Lanes for you?
How was what, sorry?
Lanes.
I had the best 3 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
Like, I know you hear horror stories of drama school that they just don't get on, but I think you get out as much as you put in. I do believe that. Like I'm an optimist, and I'd make the best of any situation that I can because life's short and all that. And I just had the best teachers and the best time, like the opportunities that you get and the people that you meet and the connections that they can give you into the industry that you've never experienced before. I mean, it's a completely new world to anyone. Even if you've danced all your life, like getting to the level of like professional college and being a professional, no one's done it before. So you're just out in the dark and hoping for the best. So I felt that I was prepped perfectly to go out into the big bad world and do it for myself. And I guess that's partially from what I put in. And obviously, if you put in enough, you get back because they can see that you want it. And so, yeah, the opportunities that I got and the parts that I got to play during there, and the improvement that I made, I'm really proud of myself. I remember I got some award at the end of the third year for being the most improved or something like that. And I just thought, actually, yeah, I did really work hard. I remember there was one jazz teacher, Miss Evans, she's God, and everyone was obsessed with her. And I would try and rework my timetable to be able to do as many lessons as I could of her. And there was some days where you had free periods, and there was this one particular day I did 4 of her jazz classes, and it got to the 4th lesson. She was like, Callum, I am doing the same lesson you've already done 3 times, but I was so obsessed with like what she brought to the table. Yeah. And she was she is a fierce teacher, but she was one of those teachers that you needed to impress. You wanted to be on her good side. You wanted to be in her numbers. And I guess my ethos was, I just want the most out of everything that I did. Yeah. And I think I did that.
I think something that, just when you're talking then, I think something that like we forget is like people are invested in people in general. And this industry is a massive testament to that, because we are in the world of storytelling and about people. Yep. So we're all people.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, actually, like when you're talking about your dance teacher from Hall, like everyone's, when you put something in for them and they put something into you, and this is we talk about this industry being really like competitive. When it is competitive in the sense of there's a lot of people wanting the limited roles, for example. However, I don't see it as like a competition as such, because like you said, you probably met loads of people at Lanes that have helped you get another job down the road, or put you forward for something else, or put your name in the mix. Like, I'm pretty sure someone put my name in the mix for Chitty, because I've not had that introduction with like the casting team before. Yeah. So I'm like racking my brain going, I'm sure someone will have mentioned it to them. And that's only a testament of like what the work that I do with other people. So I think that's something that you just mentioned then that I just think is really important to like remember, is there's always that, what's that phrase where it's like when you're on the way up or something about...
you'll always meet people on the way up. No, you'll meet them on the way up and the way down.
Something like that. It's something like that, but like being nice to people, but at the same time like investing in people. And I think, I don't know, just when you were speaking then, I was like, that's actually super important.
True. I also think, like, I remember thinking when I was leaving college, I'm really worried about what I'm actually going to do, because I'm 6'4" guy, which is quite unusual, performing. Like, where do I fit in the world of theatre? Like, what is that? Because I don't match like an ensemble. Like, I'm not going to be that like perfectly ensemble line that everyone always talks about. It's a load of rubbish now. Yeah. I know that. So, and it's a little bit cliche because we always talk about like fitting into casting brackets and stuff, but actually that's the worst thing you could do, because then you're never going to be yourself because you're trying to be someone else.
Oh gosh.
Actually, if you're not going to get something and you've been yourself, then great, because the next thing that you're going to get will be because you were your authentic self, as cheesy as it sounds. And that's how I've led my career really going forward. Another teacher, Tudor Davies, another god of mine, I used to apologize for my height all the time. He was like, shoulders back, no, be proud of yourself. And I was like, and he really drilled it into me, and I did. And I even now I walk into a room and I own myself, because I think, well, that is me. There is no other version. And if it suits what you want, then great. If it doesn't, the next one will. And I just live like that now, because otherwise you become stressed.
Oh my gosh, it took me years to do that. Yeah. Like, I remember at drama school, people would always say to me, oh, you're going to work for days. You're going to work for days. I didn't work for days. I'm just going to throw that out there. Because I think I was walking into the audition rooms going, I think this is what you want. Yeah. I think this is what you want. And then it ended up being like, who the hell's that? Yeah, like, no one knew her. And now I'm being myself. I'm getting in far more rooms than I ever anticipated. Yeah. Granted, they've started being because of Northern Prep Squad and stuff, but that's because I bring in my worth as a human, not a performer, because they are two different kettles of fish.
Totally, yeah.
But I think we talk about this at Northern Prep Squad a lot with regards to like what you bring to the table as a human, because that is so important. Like at the end of the day, at one point, everyone in that audition room can do everything that needs to be for that show. That's why they're in that audition room.
Yep.
And now it becomes, are you reliable? Can you be part of a cast and tour around the UK for months on end and not annoy everybody? Do you know what I mean? Like, and like that goes without saying with like you have been relied upon this week to be 50,000 parts in the show and for it to even go ahead. Do you know what I mean? And like, that's now a reputation that you've built. Yes, okay, you can do all those things as a performer, but actually you can do that because Callum's reliable, he's on time, he's meticulous. Like, it's all these character traits that are actually because of you, not because of Callum the performer. And I think when we have a hobby as a child that then becomes our work, we amalgamate our success to our performing when actually we don't celebrate. I mean, it was so nice to sit and listen to you go, I was actually really proud of myself getting that award at college, because I don't know about you, but I struggle with success surrounding this world, because success is often deemed as West End contracts, West End Broadway, and if it's not that, you ain't successful. When actually I think so many other things, and like being successful in this industry is also like it might be free. If that success is for a year, then doesn't mean that success goes. Like, and I don't know. It's a hard one, isn't it? Especially when we are these, I think you mentioned it earlier, like people pleasers. We become these people pleasers that want to be the best for our teachers. We admire somebody and therefore we want to work really hard for them. But actually, we're forever chasing something. Like, I was always, I don't know about you, but like I was quite good at things. Like I came from a trampoline and gymnastics background initially, so I was always quite good at things and I take direction really well. So therefore, you tell me to do something, guess what? I've done it and then it gets better. Yeah, that's the way we go. Yeah. So then, actually rewarding myself with some success is quite difficult because I naturally work hard, so therefore I always get it right. Yeah. So therefore, when you're always getting it right, when do you stop and applaud yourself? You don't, because you expect that from yourself.
That's so true.
Just a quick one to say that our associate auditions for musical theatre and acting are available to book now. You can audition with us in person in Sheffield on the 1st of June 2025, or you can submit a self-tape. More details can be found on our website. We hope to see you there. It's so hard.
I think as similar to what you were just mentioning about success in, like, say, in West End and Broadway, actually, I've realised that actually the real success is if an individual is going to re-employ you. So I've had it where I've worked for a choreographer for 2, 3, 4 times. Actually, if they want to work with me again, how amazing that they just want to be in a room with wonderful people.
Yeah.
And I've heard that from directors before, that they've cast a cast on personality, obviously talent, but I think talent is sort of a given. Once you reach professional level, in a way, it's sort of overlooked because they expect that. Like, you're trained to do it. Of course, your skills are there, your skill set is there to do it. But actually, the person that you are and in just having a nice time in a rehearsal room for 4 or 5 weeks is actually more important. And I've heard that a lot, especially one director I worked with. She said that she just cast a bunch of people that she wanted to have the best time with for 5 weeks. And actually, thinking back to that rehearsal process, we had a blast. Like, the best 5 weeks ever. It's probably one of my favourite contracts. That was on Half a Sixpence. And so it just shows that it is an individuality thing or a person thing rather than a skill set, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's hard to, it can be hard, especially like when we see these kids. I mean, you've been teaching some of my kids this morning, associates, but it's their life and they want it so much. But actually, you've got to remember that you bring so much to these jobs. You bring so much to these characters because of you. Yeah. Like, yes, you've got a brief and you've got the words that the character says, but like, the only way that is going to make it interesting to us as an audience is bringing a bit of you into there.
Yeah.
And we can't have you if you've completely shut them away because you're scared of what everyone says about them. So
Yeah. And actually, another story that's just come to my head because I was talking about Half Sixpence, I remember giving myself a real reality check during that rehearsal process because it was quite a major production at the time. It was a brand new version of it. It was for Cameron Mackintosh. It was written by Julian Fellows, who wrote Downton Abbey. So there was all these like big individuals in the room. And I had a nice little part. And obviously it was a freshly written script. And I remember feeling very safe with my choices. Like there was a scene at the beginning of the show where us 4 or 5 apprentices had a scene together. And I made decisions and I stuck with them from like day one. That's no good. Like I'm in a rehearsal room for 5 weeks on a brand new production. I need to play. Like otherwise there's so many other options that I could do.
yeah.
And I remember I was getting stuck in a rut and I had to go home one night and just tell myself to like let go because I had a line that had like a really funny punchline and I wasn't getting the joke. The joke wasn't landing. It was because I was so rigid with what I was trying to appease the people that were watching me in the room.
Yeah.
They were probably just wanting to say to me, relax.
Yeah, just loosen
me.
up a bit.
And I remember having a real chat with myself one night during rehearsals, and I did, and I went back and I played, and I discovered so much more as a performer. And ever since then, I teach totally differently, and I perform totally differently, and audition totally differently because of that moment. And I remember it so clearly, but it was because I was surrounded by the biggest wigs in the business. So that was a valuable lesson for me. I guess in a way, that was 7 years into my career. That was probably too late to start discovering stuff like that. I'm pleased I discovered it. But I remember when I was at college, I mean, sort of going off on a tangent here a little bit, but I just wanted to sound nice and I wanted to sing well and dance really cleanly. There's way more to life than that. I always say now when I teach.
I love a bit of messy.
Yeah.
Give me a bit of mess.
But also we're telling stories.
Yes.
We're not singing perfectly. No one wants to hear that. No one cares.
No.
I was even saying to a lot of your kids this morning, like, I mean, they've all got incredible voices. What a set of talent you've got. But actually stop sounding sweet and think about what you're saying and move me somehow in my body with what you're conveying. Like, let me feel an emotion through your song.
Yeah.
Don't let me hear you sound nice because I'm expecting you to sound nice now because you've got a great voice. Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? And I think that sometimes comes from a lot of the dance thing. Like, I always say this, you've got like a yes or a wrong and a right. So, but with acting, as long as you're feeling it, who's to tell you that that's wrong?
Yeah,
the director will want it a certain way and that is their choice and you've got to be able to adapt to that, but you still got to make it true to yourself. It's got to come from a place of truth. And I mean, I'm a messy person anyway. And I am quite messy. I'm being very formal today, guys. I'm being
as in like your bedroom's messy or
no, as in just like I'm just in my brain.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot going on. But I think for a long time I got formal Jordan because I thought I had to be perfect. Like, which is where our little tagline for Northern Prep Squad came about, practice makes permanent, because perfect is just an opinion.
Nice.
And everyone's opinion of perfect is going to be different.
Yeah.
And so if you harp on about trying to get to the perfect, actually you're never going to appease anybody. So, a bit of mess has never done me, has actually got me further in life, being just open and honest, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll love a bit of mess. Right then, so we've got to talk about, obviously, mindset is super important to us and all the Prep Squad. It's like our mindset came from me and Jess in lockdown. Yeah. Struggling ourselves.
Of course.
And there was so much that I just didn't realise I hadn't dealt with. With regard to like just my outlook on not only the industry, but again, myself, all these sorts of things. So I want to ask you if there's been a point in your career in which, I mean, you've touched upon a few already that you've had to change your mindset for, but does anything stand out where something's affected? Because I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because you go to work every day, you're expected to put on the same show, whether you've done it a million times or the first time. Yeah. And we're all human. Like, you are not just the performer. So things happen in our lives that can come up and affect us.
Yeah.
Has anything come up like that where you've had to deal with that mindset change?
I think actually a couple of times. I mean, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom, obviously. When my dad passed, I was just finishing a job, and I was auditioning for other jobs, and I remember it was at a point, it was bad. He was not well, and I was still having to go into audition rooms and obviously think about my future. I need to earn money. And a workshop came up for a new production of a show, which was a paid workshop to like basically discover choreography. And I went down to London to do that. It was 5 days, and it was actually, now I looking back, it was the final week of my dad's life, and I took it because of money, because I needed to survive. But actually, I was in that torn place of actually, no, I should be at home with my dad. But he was like, no, you need to go off and just crack on. Like, life is for living. And that's how was his motto all along. But actually, I look back and I think about dealing with the stress of that. I mean, I took it in my stride at the time, but actually, the burden I carried on myself and the guilt that I experienced because of that was actually awful. I look back, I don't regret it, because I don't think he would want me to regret it. But I do look back and go, oh, what if I just stayed that week? I could have been with him on his final day. So I do, I guess, struggle with that idea a little bit, but I do have peace at the fact that he wanted me to go at that. And actually, in the similar realm of things, this week, which you will be aware of, unfortunately, we lost the Vivian who was in the show in Chitty before Christmas and was meant to be here in Sheffield with us playing the child catcher. And I first covered the child catcher. I was actually meant to be playing Potts, who is the lead in the show, for these 2 weeks in Sheffield, but due to the circumstances and the change of the show, they asked me if I would play the child catcher sort of on behalf of the Vivian. And I've never felt pressure like that ever. So we came back to the show on Tuesday, and that Tuesday night was the hardest show I've ever done in 16 years, ever. And I didn't realize until the next day, the weight on my shoulders on that Tuesday night was actually unbearable. But I remember getting myself in such a zone, because otherwise I would have been a mess on stage.
Yeah.
Like, we were all so close to the Viv, and she was an incredible person, an amazing performer, but also just like a wonderful person to be in the building with. And then knowing that I'm playing a role that this person should actually be playing tonight is actually awful for me. But I had to do it for the show. The show has to carry on. And I had to get myself in a mind state that was a little bit tunnel visioned in order to get myself through it.
Yeah.
And I think I did that. I did the job and I got it done, and I think I did a good job. But actually, it was a lot for me to carry that one night. I remember thinking that was actually a really tough day looking back. And I've played it throughout this week, and that weight has dispersed, and I've celebrated and dedicated my performance to her. And that's my way of getting through the show in order to make it happen. And I think that's the most respectful and best way it could be done.
100%.
So yeah, I think it's a great question, because it's very fresh.
Yes.
For me. Yeah.
Do you think it's something that you have managed to deal with at the time, or do you think will it be?
I think at the time when we lost the Vivian, it was during our hiatus, which we had 7 weeks off. So we were away from everyone, which in a way I think was good, because we had our own way to digest what had happened to us all. And there wasn't hysteria there because we weren't all together and it wasn't fresh. Obviously, coming back together was tough because we're all suffering grief together, literally all of us, the whole company, because we all knew and loved this person. And I guess the company have been incredible in providing the support and also the ability to either speak or get away from the situation.
Yeah.
We're all being very respectful to each other, and I think that's guess the motto is like, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and you can't really go wrong. But I think I have dealt with it, and I think I'm in an okay place. Yeah. I think I deal with stress well.
Got any tips for that?
A strong gin and tonic.
Not for you, Keith.
But yeah, I think I'm insecure in myself. Not insecure. I am secure in myself, which is half the battle, isn't it?
Yes.
If you're secure in yourself, then you can deal with situations that you are up against in life. You don't know what's going to come up to you. I don't know what's going to come next. So yeah, I think I have dealt with it.
Good. Go you.
Go me.
I love that secure. Like, it's so difficult to, and I think that comes with age. The security in yourself. So true, it comes with age. It comes with experience. Like, you never know what you would have been like maybe this time around, having kind of dealt with this before almost. Like, it's quite hard, isn't it? But I mean, yeah, it's a tough industry as well to be in. Never mind have to, like, I don't think any other industry has to put themselves on a platter.
Yeah,
and then have their own life as well. Like, and get on a stage no matter what. Like,
yeah, that's it. Actually, I think
it's wild.
I mean, I've had it before with students where they're like, "Oh, I didn't go to an audition today because I was tired." I'm like, I understand, but I sometimes have to do 8 shows a week, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And you do have to turn it on. Unfortunately, that is the industry. I think, yes, you have to be kind to yourself, but there is a job to do.
Yes.
And I think that's where the balance is in general in life. You need to be able to turn it on when it needs to be turned on. And that is the job of an actor. I think it's not just necessarily grief. It's loads of other things. Like, you might deal with a breakup or I can't think of anything else, but there's stuff going on, or an injury, for example. Yeah, there's so many other things that I've been injured this whole contract. I've broken my toe. I've had issues with my hips. Like, there's so much going on, but you deal with it. You get the right support within the company, and as long as you can do the show, then you crack on. I think that's always been my motto. I guess I'm a little bit old school. So I'm the bridge between the old school.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know. I mean, I'm all for obviously new things, and like, I don't think mindset was discussed at all when we were training.
Never.
So I'm all for that, but at the same time, I do think keep calm and carry on kind of.
Yeah, there is that.
Still does work.
Yeah, I mean, I think nowadays it is more addressed, which is amazing.
Yes.
Like, and the fact that you've got mindset in, like, your
we incorporate it into
the training.
They do it for half an hour before they even start.
I think that's amazing. I don't actually know any other school that does that.
Yeah.
I think
it's just so important.
It's so important. Also, the kids, even as young as they are, might discover themselves from these mindset sessions.
I mean, the personalities that we have at our associates, I mean, honestly, hilarious. These kids are hilarious. But that's one thing I'm really passionate about, is because I felt like I kind of lost my personality for a hot second because I was trying to please everybody and trying to be this perfect person, that I actually lost the key part of me that's employable, like, is my personality. No one else has got that. So I lost it for a hot second. And I think that's why mindset for me at such a young age, to deal with these emotions, like we do this thing called bin it and park it. Like, that is nice. The kids are doing it before they go on stage at Chitty. Like,
so good.
I've got kids doing it before they go to auditions. I've got, like, my adults there, because they technically are adults now, that have left drama school, that are doing it before their auditions. Like, and these little tools, yes, they can help you deal with these feelings,
of course,
that then allow you to have your personality on top of that. And I think that's super.
But also
super
the fact that you've incorporated it into their training, and they are naturally doing it before they go on stage. I think that's amazing that it's not even a thought; it's just part of their process.
And I wish I'd blooming had it.
Me too.
But we've got it now. I'll teach it you later.
Yeah, I might come and join for 6 months.
So I have a little photo here.
Yes.
That I'm going to grab. Okay. This photo, Callum, I asked Callum, can you Send me a photo that brings you joy when you look at it from your career.
Yeah.
And this is the photo.
What a lovely back I've got.
What a look at that gorgeous back. And that head of hair. Where's that head of hair come from? So go on, tell me, what's this photo?
So this was me in Matilda, the musical, in London. And I feel like this photo is like my defining moment of my career.
Okay.
I remember being, I don't know when Matilda came out. It was about 2010, I think. So I'd just graduated. I'd been out 1 year, and I was so amazed by this character that was performed by a male identifying person. I just thought it was so extreme to real life, and something that was so challenging. I really wanted to be pushed to be able to do it. And I don't know, I remember auditioning for the show when I was about 23. And I did quite well in the process. And I was up for the cover Trunchbull and another part, I think, the Escapologist. And I put so much into it. And I was like, come on, this is mine. I can do this. And I didn't get the job. I had a final, but I didn't get it. And I was so upset because I put my world into it, like everything. I was 23. Of course, I was never going to cover that part at 23. Like, I just wasn't. Anyway, it came around that I had auditioned for the show again when I was like 28, 29, I think. And I was up for Rodolfo, totally different part. And also with second cover, Trunchbull. And that was the year I got it. And then I thought, oh my God, the dream has come true. Like, the dream that I dreamt, 6, 7 years prior. Like, I'm now covering this part. I might not go on. I was second cover. I ended up doing about 22 shows as that. And I look at that and I think, I did it. I've achieved the goal. Like, what do I do now? Like, there is no other part. There's no other part that I've set my eyes on since. Like, that is literally the part that I dreamt of. And it actually happened. Like, as cheesy as it is, I've said this twice now, my dream came true. Like, and I've done it. And I can say I've played that part. So I look at that and I just think, wow, I've got a double mic on. That's when you play in the lead. Yes. And I'm wearing a wig.
Not the double mic.
And I'm like, that is my career defining moment to date, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what brings me joy, because I just think, yes, I've achieved something. Like,
and I love that a photo can like bring back like all those memories for that.
Yeah.
I think I'm bad at taking photos. And especially of like, and with memories and like feeling in, and I think that's just beautiful. Yeah. Like, you have that and all those memories come flooding back. I love that.
And I'd never forget my first show that I went on. So the Trunchbull doesn't come out for about 30 minutes in the show. And you get wheeled on in a big chair and you face these TV screens and you're facing upstage because obviously the audience are waiting to see this character.
Yeah.
It's like iconic. And I remember facing upstage, Miss Honey is downstairs knocking on the door to the office. And my vision went. I was so nervous that I blacked out, but my eyes were open. And I remember blinking, trying to see, and I couldn't see. The fear.
I can feel it in my soul.
And I had to spin round. I said, enter. And then I had to turn the chair around. And slowly my vision started to come back as I turned to Miss Honey. But I thought I'd gone blind because I was so scared. And then obviously I'd rehearsed, I'd trained, I was prepped to do it. And I just had the best show of my life. Like, and then I got to do it another 21 times. So by the end, it was like second nature, and I could just absolutely love it.
Enjoy it then, and like.
Yeah, and I guess it's similar to what I'm doing now in Chitty. Like, I'm covering all these amazing parts, and I did 3 weeks as Potts back in October. I played it this week. I'm playing it again on Tuesday. It's just being able to play and explore all these different characters and get to do such extreme things that you wouldn't necessarily do as a person. I just love it. I just love it. So.
Oh, I love that. And it's a great photo as well.
Thank you, babes.
You orchestrated it to someone.
I think I did, yeah. I was like, I
want this
I need to have
The
it.
dreams come true. I need the dream photo that's been in my brain on
Yeah.
my Pinterest board. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, we've actually got some questions
Ooh.
from some kiddie winks. So you've been teaching our associates this morning.
I have, yeah.
Acting through song. And we've got some of those. Actually, I think these are my Chitty girls.
Amazing.
The girls that are in Chitty, and they've got some questions for you.
Okay.
Right.
Let's do it.
Right, are you ready to hear from one of your urchins?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Bella. I'm 10 years old, and I would like to ask Callum how it is to play multiple parts in the show.
Great question, Belle.
Bella.
Oh, sorry. Bella.
Should kill me. If I didn't
Sorry,
correct
Bella.
it, it's Bella.
Do you know what? It has been a godsend for me. Like going away on tour is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really done a full UK tour, a year's UK tour. I did a mini tour of Cats. It was about 4 months before we came into London, but I've never done over a year on the road, and I'm 36. That's quite old to do that. Like away from home, like the home comforts.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I cover 4 parts. So I have my own track, it's an ensemble track with a couple of features. And then I cover Potts, which is the lead. I cover the child catcher, iconic role. I cover Boris the Spy, which is comedy.
Yes.
And then I cover Lord Scrumptious, the dad. So I am literally like getting pulled in all directions. But for me to like stretch my abilities and acting skills, it's like the perfect
They're
show.
all so different.
So different. So like I've mentioned before today, I've done 7 shows as child catcher this week and 1 as Potts. Next week I'm doing 7 as me, my own track, and 1 as Potts. So already I would have played 3 different roles or 3 different tracks in the 2-week period. And that is like the reason I get up in the morning, because I'm just like, what is it today? I'm excited to see what it's going to be. Like obviously,
it keeps it fresh, eh?
Keeps it fresh, and also you've got to put the prep in. Obviously, like at the beginning, my brain was like, how on earth am I going to retain all of this information, all these dance moves, everything? But actually, once you've done the work and you get it down, it's like, it's just the best job in the world, because it's like I get to play everything. You lot just have to stick to your own track every day.
Yeah.
So
How
yeah,
boring of you.
good question, Bella. I love it. It's hard work, but it's worth it.
Hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right, we've got as next one, we've got our lovely Ella May.
Hi, I'm Elle May. I'm 11 years old, and I would like to ask Callum, have you ever been in a Western show where you've had to learn lines in less than a week?
In less than a week. How long do you normally get in rehearsals?
So in general, they sort of say it's a 4-week period, generally.
Yeah.
I've done shows. I did Kiss Me Kate to Opera North in Leeds, actually. That was 8 weeks. But that's like, it was rehearsed more like an opera. They have longer. I've learnt shows that say, for example, Cats, it was already going on and I was added into the show. I did it in 2 weeks. So, and I played quite a big role in that as well. So that was a lot. But that didn't go straight into London. It went on tour before it went into town. But I think in general, that is the time frame, 4 weeks. So I've never had to do a show in a week. No.
Is it Ori?
Yes.
He was rehearsing last week and then he's on like next week, isn't it?
Yeah. So he had, well, we joined, oh no. And it's a monstrous role. It's huge. He had a week in a studio before we came back. So he did do a week prior to last week. And then he obviously had last week on stage and he's doing this week on stage. He's got his tech, his dress, and then he opens on Friday. I mean, it is mammoth what he's being asked to do. But again, his work ethic, his ethos, he's just like, he's on it. He's going to be amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh, so not a week, but maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe 2, yeah.
Oh, right.
Good question, LMA.
Good question, LMA. Right, next one, we've got a lovely Isla.
Hi, my name is Eliza. I'm 11 years old, and I would like to ask Callum what his favourite show was.
Good question.
Also, biggest show.
I mean,
What does that even mean?
yeah, I'm going to interpret it in my way.
Go on.
Now, and it's only when I look back because I was young, it is going to be, I'm going to say Cats because they brought it back to the London Palladium, our version, I was playing Munkerstrap, which is sort of the narrator of the show. Nicole Scherzinger was playing Grisabella.
Wow.
And the original creative team all came back. Sir Trevor Nunn, Lord Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Dame Gillian Lynn. I mean, all the titles were in the room. But it was the most surreal experience of my entire life, because you're surrounded by these people that you've looked up your whole life. Like when I was 8, watching all the Andrew Lloyd Webber videos, and like I remember watching Cats on video when I was younger. And now I'm in the room with the man himself. Like, what? And I remember having like my own rehearsal period with Sir Trevor Nunn. And I was like, this is the biggest theatre director in the world. And I'm having a one-on-one with this man. What is happening?
How old were you?
I was 26.
Wild.
And Dame Gillian Lynn, like probably the most iconic theatre choreographer of all time, was like teaching me choreography at like 93 or whatever she was. Like, honestly, surreal. And then with Nicole being in the show and also coming back to London for the first time after 20 years or whatever it was, we had everyone come and see it. Every single person. We had like Prince one night, Tom Cruise another night, there'll be Gary Barlow another night. Like just everyone and everything
like
was there.
Completely different world. Isn't
Like,
it?
and I look back and I think, what was my life then? Like, but at the time it was just normal.
Yeah.
But it wasn't normal.
Just gonna work.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, I've forgotten the question, but
The biggest show you've been in.
I think with what came with that, I think that is the biggest,
Well, yeah.
like in terms of like the spotlight was on it.
In every capacity, really.
Yes.
What theatre was it in?
The London Palladium.
Well, there we go then. Let's. I think you've answered that quite well there. I don't know if we can top that question. Right, now we're ready. Here's another one for you.
Hi, my name is Piper and I'm 8 years old. I would like to ask Callum, what is the hardest job you've ever done?
The hardest job you've ever done. What's the hardest?
I actually don't know the answer. I guess it could be 2. My first West End job was top hat in the West End.
Mm-hmm.
I've just said West End twice. West End job, top hat, but I got swing. Now, I was buzzing because it was my West End debut, but I remember getting the job.
With a swing?
As a swing. So I was like, I remember getting the call from my agent, I was buzzing, and then they said, you got swing, and then my face and my heart sank. I was just like, oh. Not because I was like gutted, because I was so fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a tap show. I can tap, but I'm not the best tapper in the world. And I covered 12 tracks. And I remember thinking, how am I ever going to learn all this? And I did the show for about 18 months. I stayed in the show in town for the whole run. And actually, so rewarding, because I was like, some of the tracks that I covered had solo tap on stage. Never in a million years did I think I would have to do that. So
starting dancing when you were 15 and
exactly.
then having your first West End contract as a swing.
Yeah.
Solo
in a tap
tapping.
show. Yeah. So that was
Wild.
a real achievement. And I guess probably the hardest in terms of information that I had to like retain, similar to Chitty, but in a different sense, because they were
maybe that
covers.
gave you did it straight away out of drama school. Like you did arguably one of the hardest jobs in musical theatre of being a swing.
Yeah.
Straight out.
Yeah.
And maybe that prepared you.
Yeah, that's
for all
so
these
true.
Things.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful I did swing. I have swung. I don't know if that's a word. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Once since then, and it was only
Mm-hmm.
a couple of years ago. And I just think it's such a good skill to have, and everyone should experience it. And
Yes.
It's,
That means everyone should come to our swing school. It's in the summer.
yeah.
We do a swing school, guys. But yeah, I think that is such a valuable skill set to have.
Yeah.
Again, because people shy away from it, because it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain mind for it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you can't have a certain mind for it. Like, so it's I think it's such a invaluable skill, and I feel like we've had a lot of light shone on swings.
I agree. Recently, yeah.
Which is amazing.
Uh-huh.
They deserve everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would urge everybody to have a go at swing at least a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. I would do it again.
Yeah.
It's just hard work, but
Yeah.
we're not scared of hard work.
Well, there we go.
Yep.
Keeps you busy, eh?
Exactly.
And you never get bored.
No.
It's never the same show twice.
Exactly.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks so much for joining us today. And if you're interested in joining the squad, either as an associate, a management client, or just joining one of our summer opportunities, head to our website, www.northernprepsquad.co.uk. or check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. All the links can be found in our show notes. Thanks for listening.